8 years after he got out of prison, former Governor John Rowland is now in trouble again. Tonight, he's been indicted. Hi, everyone. I'm Ann Craig.
I'm Darren Kramer. Rowland was slapped with that federal indictment tonight on charges that he took money under the table for helping out two Republican congressional campaigns. News 8's Bob Wilson has been working this story tonight and has the latest.
Tonight, former Governor John Rowland was indicted on 7 counts for an alleged scam he ran to get around federal election laws. It comes less than 2 weeks after Lisa Wilson Foley and her husband pled guilty to conspiring with Rowland during her 2011-2012 campaign for Congress. An email sent to Wilson Foley back in 2011, Rowland allegedly writes, quote, "I am just a volunteer helping you and many other Republican candidates in case anyone asks. I want to stay under the radar as much as possible and get the job done." The Foleys allegedly paid him $35,000 to secretly help her with a campaign and boost her on his talk radio show.
I am not going to be discussing the recent news and legal developments. I'm sure that you all understand.
Rowland has resigned from the show, and it was 10 years ago that he stepped down as governor under threat of impeachment. He later pled guilty to federal corruption charges, and now he is in trouble again. A statement released by Governor Malloy's communications director says, quote, "It is another sad chapter in the story that Connecticut knows all too well. Law enforcement should be commended for their diligence on this matter. Governor Malloy hopes for a quick resolution. Voters are disillusioned."
I thought it was a great governor. I'm really surprised.
I'm blown away. I just don't know what to say.
Well, a lot of people were surprised. They hadn't heard word yet that John Rowland had been indicted now again. However, they say this time around, while they're surprised, there's not going to be a whole lot of forgiveness or love for the former governor. They say you should learn your lesson the first time and make it count.
Learn your lesson the first time.
Last time when Rowland pled guilty to corruption charges, he did less than a year in a minimum security prison. But this time around, he could be looking at some hard time if convicted. He has been indicted on 2 counts of falsification of records in a federal investigation. Maximum penalty, 20 years on each count. 1 count of conspiracy, carrying up to 5 years in prison. 2 counts of causing false statements, 5 years. 2 counts of causing illegal campaign contributions, up to a year in prison for that.
Some people don't change, like I said before, everybody's once a crook, always a crook. You keep doing the same thing and pushing the limit, see how far you get through it without getting caught.
Another Republican candidate, businessman Mark Greenberg, says he's testified before the federal grand jury that Rowland approached him about consulting his campaign in 2010 and wanted to be paid under the table, an arrangement Greenberg says he rejected. The indictment handed down today lists candidate 2 as someone who turned down Rowland's consulting pitch, but it doesn't actually name Greenberg.
Well, as Bob mentioned in his story tonight, virtually everybody in Connecticut knows about the former governor's scandalous past. In January of 1995, Rowland was sworn in as governor at the age of 37. He was the youngest in Connecticut's history. 8 years later, Rowland faced questions about improvements at his lake cottage. He initially lied, saying that he paid for those renovations himself, but under increasing pressure a month later, he admitted that he got gifts from state contractors. Then in July of 2004, Rowland resigned under threat of impeachment. And in December of 2004, he pleaded guilty to tax and mail fraud. He reported to federal prison in April of 2005, served nearly a year. Rowland was released on February 1st of 2006. We're going to be there tomorrow in federal court as Rowland is arraigned. Be sure to stay with News 8 for continuing coverage on air and online at WTNH.com.